We're joined by Linus Gitahi of the Nation Media Group in Kenya. I'm John Allen at this Bloomberg Google Hangout at the U.S. Africa Business Forum here in the Mandarin Hotel in Washington, D.C. Linus, I want to talk to you a little bit about what the media look like, in particular in Kenya and across Africa. Give me a sense of the extent to which you have laws that protect the press, or places where it's harder for reporters to really get in and report on their government, report on business?
Yeah, I think media has come a long way in East Africa. And if I may talk about Kenya in particular, media, and by media we're talking about print, we're talking about television, we're talking about radio and digital, which is basically what Nation Media Group is about, has evolved quite a bit in the last 10, 15 years. Today, in terms of media freedom, I would say Kenya is probably one of the best markets in Africa. You know, it's as free can be. That doesn't mean there are no attempts to limit that freedom. I guess the media and politicians who are bedfellows are yet to be born. So what we do is to ensure that we safeguard that freedom, and we realize that the best way of safeguarding that freedom is also to be responsible. So I think we're in an era where we are thinking about responsibility as much as we are thinking about safeguarding the freedom.
And you're going to be partnering with the Bloomberg Media Initiative in Africa. What do you think is the end goal in terms of what can be brought to bear to help media in Africa hold leaders accountable?
Yeah, we have several engagements with the Bloomberg Initiative, and what excites me is their commitment to help to raise the bar in terms of financial journalism, because not all media houses are able to do that on their own. And they have this initiative where they are going to really push the whole reporting about the finance, about companies, about corporates, about economy, about policies related to economy, quite hard. And that's very exciting because really that's the future of Africa. The future of Africa is endowed with lots of resources. Africa has a lot of potential, and to have journalists who are able to articulate the issues and to analyze the various financial things, whether it's corporates or policies or governments, is a great thing, and that is where Bloomberg wants to put the money. So I think it's a great initiative.
How do most Kenyans get their news?
The media that has the highest penetration in East Africa is radio. I think it has a penetration of about 95%. It's followed by television, which will be about 50%, and then print, which will be about 40%. So between those three, you reach 100% of Kenyans. And of course, digital is also growing very, very fast. So the whole area of breaking news on the mobile phone is something that has caught on extremely fast.
Yeah. Here too.
Yeah, that's right.
As we're all walking around with our little alerts.
That's right. We're getting all these alerts from even this meeting. Yeah.
How do you see the media growing along with the economic growth in Africa? I mean, obviously there are countries, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, that have robust economies now. We're seeing a lot of growth in some of the other countries as well. How do you see the media evolving with that growth, with the business growth, with the economic growth? Do you have concerns about the ability of the media to keep up in terms of keeping transparency standards, keeping leaders accountable, making sure that those dollars that are being spent there are being spent the right way?
Yeah, I don't have any concern about individual media houses growing fast. I don't have a concern about individual media houses keeping up with the government and keeping them on their toes. I think where the gap is that there are still small media enterprises country by country. But Africa is integrating. Africa is coming together. And I think there will be need for media to also figure out how to integrate and how to have depth, so that you can report sitting in Nairobi, you can report about Nigeria, you can report about South Africa, and accurately so. That's an area we're investing in. As I talk to you today, we have about 32 journalists scattered around Africa. With that in mind, making sure that we tell the African story ourselves, so to make sure that what we're reporting out there is something that we're doing ourselves. How many companies can do that in Africa? Not many. Probably outside Kenya and South Africa, not many. So that's probably a gap, and that is why, again, the initiative like Bloomberg comes to help a great deal.
Can I ask you, when President Obama was elected, what was the coverage like in Kenya?
Oh, it was ecstatic. I mean, everybody was. We even had a holiday. It was. I think every Kenyan, regardless of where you are, tried to follow that, and it was probably one of the biggest news.
Do you think he's fulfilled expectations in Kenya?
Well, I'm not sure. I would say that. I like this initiative, but obviously, don't forget we are still waiting for him to visit. He's not visited. He didn't visit in his first term. He's come to Tanzania and promised that he'll come next door before the end of his presidency. I think he's got 2 years to go, so I'm hoping that he's going to pay a visit. But beyond the visit, I think initiatives like AGOA are there, they're good, but I think they started before his time. Mm-hmm. So I think it's fair to say we are waiting for a really solid initiative, not about Kenya, but about Africa as well, that can come from Obama and probably underpin his legacy as a president who came from that part of the world.
So this is a step, but he hasn't gotten to the place he needs to be.
I think this is a great step. It's an excellent step, particularly bringing business and business together, and even having politicians almost sitting and listening to business. I've never seen anything like this, where it is business on the podium, and our presidents are actually sitting there and watching, and the only opportunity they have is really asking questions. I mean, it's excellent. So I think it's a very good start, but I look forward to many more of those, and I look forward to personal initiatives, one or two big initiatives from him before the end of the presidency.
Linus Gitahi of Nation Media Group, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us at the Bloomberg Google Hangout. We'll be back at the U.S. Africa Business Forum a little bit later, and thanks very much.